Hey guys, back with another video today. We're going to be going over what kind of investor you are. I know, how exciting, right? With that being said, I think the most important thing that you can invest in is yourself, and I want you to start changing your mindset of how you start investing or how you start saving your money, what you start doing with your money. A lot of people get in the habit of just throwing their money into this and then doing this and then buying it and then they end up with nothing. I want you to start thinking of potential growth for yourself by taking your money, putting it away into something that gets you more money, and then over a long period of time that you see a really a large amount of growth, and then that's something that you can retire on. And I want you to start thinking about that at a really young age, because if you start now, that the chances that you reach retirement at you know the goal that you're trying to reach and retire at a pretty young age, that's a lot more likely when you start when you're really young. And when you're really old, that becomes a lot harder to do. And the cool part though is if you are a little older, if you're don't know the exact age, I think it's after 50, you're allowed to put more money into your 401k or retirement accounts so that you can save more money. It's kind of like a catch-up program, and that won't be taxed, which is kind of nice. So think about that when if you are watching this channel and you're a little bit on the older side. Without that being said, I want to start talking about, are you a conservative investor? And what does that mean? Like, what kind of companies do you feel are really safe and secure? Do you think that your money is going to grow a lot during that time? Now, if you're really young and you're watching this, being a conservative investor may not be the smartest measure, and the reason being is because you may get your annual return of 8%, but I think being a little bit more aggressive in your investing, especially if you're having quite a bit of income over a long period of time, can get you quite a bit of gains. Like, for instance, if you looked into Amazon back in, I think, 2007, 8, 9, somewhere around in there, not all that long ago, and you invested $10,000 then, I think it would have grown to 22,000, no, $222,000 today, and that's quite a bit of return. $10,000 going back then to now is a lot of money. And then you could have taken that money and then put it into something like Coca-Cola, and then then you've got a company that's probably not going to be going anywhere. Not saying that Amazon's going anywhere anytime soon. I think it's one of those companies that's going to stick around for a while as well and have potential growth even from this point. I don't think that Amazon is one of those companies that is a sell right now. I think it's definitely a hold company. Because you're going to see probably some growth out of the next 10 years. But I'm really interested to see the war between Walmart and Amazon over the next few years. I think it's going to be a really interesting battle between the two companies, because I see a lot of growth coming from Walmart being able to produce kind of what Amazon is doing, and it's stepping into Amazon space a little bit. But Amazon is so far ahead right now. How are they going to push back? But I think that they're kind of going to war with each other right now, and I'm really interested to see how that's going to work out over the next 10 years. Another thing is, if you are young, high risk to high reward can be really good, because then that gives you the capital to invest into a company that's a little bit more stable over after you've made that money. And if you're taking your money and you're just like, throwing it into something stable, that could be really good, because over a long period of time, you make your gains and you don't lose anything, but you also don't really gain as much as you could gain for, say, if you went and threw like $10,000 into like Netflix back, in the early 2000s, and look at where it is now, you would have incredible gains. So I think when you're being a savvy investor, I think you should have your high growth stocks, and I think you should have, like, basically think of it like going to battle. You've got your offensive stocks, you've got your defensive stocks, and you've got stocks that are really secure, that weather something like a financial crisis and don't have any really problems. And then you've got companies that have potential growth, that in the next 10 to 20 years you can see massive growth out of these companies, and then you're making a killing. An example of a potentially high growth stock would be something like Tesla. And a potential for a low risk stock would be something like Johnson and Johnson. Those two companies, are vastly different from one another, and they're different, completely different sectors. But that's the kind of idea that you need to start thinking about when you start investing. Are you willing to throw $331 into Tesla that has potential to turn into maybe a $10,000 stock? Or would you rather put your money into something like Johnson & Johnson, who's been around for 100 years and pays you a dividend? And that's something I really want you to think about. So if you're young, high-risk stocks, high reward. If you're old, low-risk stocks, low reward as well, which kind of sucks, but hopefully when you're a little bit older, you have quite a bit more money saved up, so you've already planned ahead for that. So that's something I really want you to think about. Age factor is a really important thing. Like I said, young. Another thing I want you to think about is passive income versus active income. When you're thinking about passive income makes you money while you're not working, and that's probably the most important thing next to taking care of yourself and investing in yourself is thinking about your passive income and how to build that and change, I need to go to work to make money, and trying to develop something that will generate you money while you're working, getting more of these, because if you have more passive income coming in than what you're making in active income, eventually, hopefully, you'll be able to move off of active income and just go full-time passive income and develop more and more entrepreneurial aspects into your life and eventually become totally independent. And that's something that I want you to think about. This is a job. This is like something that generates you money over a long period of time, over and over. And that could be something like a YouTube video. It could be something like, as an Amazon ebook. There's many different websites that you can learn about this. Just be careful. Don't get caught in the trap of learn from me. You could do this and you can make so much money. I think that's anyone who's saying that is trying to make money off of you, and they're like, well, subscribe to my thing and I'll teach you how to make hundreds of thousands of dollars within a week, this short money. I think all those things are kind of schemes. I think if you really want to do some investments, do a lot of reading, do a lot of research. Don't get involved with anything until you've heard good results from maybe multiple people, and read reviews. Do a lot of research before you start just jumping into something that you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a ton of money doing this, and that's a really bad mindset to get it's putting the cart before the horse, and I don't want you to do that. So think about that. Think about how you're going to start investing, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Like if you liked the video, dislike if you dislike the video, and if you really like the video, please subscribe. Have a great week.